Welcome to This Is Kimberly A. Bryant. I'm Kimberly, co-host of the Pop Culture Green Room with my twin sister. But this is my solo space to dive deeper. I'm bringing you lifestyle, pop culture, hot topics, reality TV, and fashion, with a little flavor on the side. From hitting local hot spots to cooking with your favorite celebs, we're keeping it fresh, fun, and always on trend. Let's go. Hi, what is up, y'all? This is Kimberly A. Bryant with the Pop Culture Green Room. And look who I have with me today.
Hey, it's Blair. I'm here popping in on Kim's personal channel today.
Yeah, see now, okay, I turned my volume down. Now I can barely hear you. So I gotta put my volume back up. Okay. All right, speak to me, Blair. Speak to me.
Can you hear me now?
Speak to me. Yep, okay. Yeah, you're a little low, but I'll do the best I can. So I know that I'm really loud on your end, but you know that's okay. We'll
turn up pretty high actually.
Huh? Do I know?
My microphone's turned up pretty high, so let me see. Let me tinker with the settings a little bit.
Okay, sorry, y'all. We're gonna get this up and rolling here in a second. Anyway, it is Monday. Happy Monday. Today is the 23rd of June, 2025.
Yes,
I'm actually really happy about it. Really just looking forward to July because it can't get here soon enough because I've got a lot of big things going on in July. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for it and I'm enjoying my hot girl summer. What about you, Blair?
You know what? I can't complain because I've been consistently working out, and today has been an exception, and I might try to do something after I finish with this, and I probably will.
Oh, you go.
So I can't complain, It's like I'm happy about doing that, and I'm busy, but it's been a good kind of busy. So yeah.
Good. No, you should. That's a great idea. I need to do that too. Well, I need to get back into my yoga class. I'll probably get there this weekend though, because I love it. It's so funny. Like I said before, I forgot how much I loved it.
Yeah.
Until I got back into the swing of it. Because you remember I was about to get certified as a yoga instructor back in 2010. And then all of a sudden San Diego just became this whole open abyss for me. And I left and I just left that all behind. But anyway, so how was your weekend overall?
It was pretty good. I'm at a point where I barely remember what I did on the weekend. So I think it was kind of like more like, I think it was kind of more the calm down from the week itself, which is pretty busy but fun. And like I went to go see like your friend Brittany. That was really nice.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh my gosh, how did I forget about that? Yeah, everybody, that was fun. I got to see my old roommate. Actually, Blair's friends with her also. Brittany she's originally from Chicago, but she's my roommate from back in San Diego. And it's funny because when we all lived together, we had this house that we lived in. And it was on Academy Street, and it was a few blocks away from the ocean, but it was awesome. Walking distance from the ocean. And it was this big house. You remember it because it was
like kind of like on a mountain or something like that, or sort of like
it was pretty much like on a mountain or like on a
I remember. Yeah, it was on a mountain. Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah, because it was so steep. It was and obviously like when I fractured my ankle, it was hard for me to get in and out. Because remember my driveway was on an incline, so we always parked in the street. No one ever like really used the garage except for they stored like all their CrossFit equipment. Everybody's CrossFit equipment went in there, and like my room was at the top of the stairs. I remember that. Oh my god, it was Matthew's old room. Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. I'm thinking about that. Just so many memories. It was called Rage House. That's what we called it because every weekend it's like like clockwork. We had the house filled up with people almost every weekend, and we would pre-game and get ready to go out and go party and just go like rage the entire weekend. But then during the week, everybody was just so professional, like Monday through Friday, like work, stay focused. But then still sometimes things will slip in. Taco Tuesday, goldfish races Wednesdays at Pacific Beach Shore Club.
Goldfish races.
Yes, Thirsty Thursday. And then but it was just always like a party. And at some point you got to like kind of grow up and grow out of it. But wasn't it great seeing her though? It was
It
so
was,
awesome.
yeah, it definitely was. And no, it's funny because I
It
do
was
remember
so
that. Like, I was actually there. We all had one of those ragers, and you were not
you
exaggerating.
were
And I was not here. So it was interesting. So,
I
but yeah,
know,
it
that
was
was
great. We went to Merrill in New Orleans and one of Goss's restaurants, and
that
shucks.
restaurant was awesome. And I love the fact that they had the cotton candy that you can get, like, as a dessert, but I didn't know it came with a
Ew.
sparkler. That was
Oh, and I
fun,
didn't
though.
either, which is actually pretty funny and pretty festive. Because, like, well, because I remember when they first had that, I believe that it was just for birthdays only. But then I think people wanted it and requested it, so yeah, it is a menu item. But I mean, their food was really good, and I'm glad that you all liked it because it was my suggestion because I went years ago.
Oh, it was so good, and it was perfect
Yes,
timing because she was at the time, she was staying at Lowe's Hotel, so it was literally, like, right there, a 3-minute drive,
exactly. Yeah,
a 5-minute walk, so it worked out perfectly, and we literally made a circle. We went and grabbed her from the
yeah, we
hotel, and
did.
we went to the restaurant, and it was empty because the time we went, we had reservations at 6 PM, so the streets that were cleared out, so we parked very easily. It was just so great and so convenient, but yeah, like,
Oh, I
Merrill, like,
know.
if anyone is ever in New Orleans, y'all wanna find a place to go, check that place out because it was outstanding and the
Yeah,
service
it's
was
some more
great.
Goss's restaurants, like a little bit of seafood, like a little bit of Louisiana cuisine, but it's more of New American style, I believe. Which I didn't realize that until we got there, but it was still
Mhm.
good. The many items were like
Wasn't
I said,
it? I
it
know
was
it was
superb. It was
great.
chef's kiss. It was great. And
It was, and
I'm
then
glad we
it
all had
worked out
fun.
because
Yeah.
right. Oh, yeah, and then what was even better was the fact that it was restaurant week, and we didn't even know
Yeah.
because and which was great because like I said, like Brittany and I said, whenever we would get together in San Diego, especially when I lived with her, we would restaurant week was a thing that we did. And even when we weren't roommates, we would get together like and do all kinds of stuff. We did a lot of stuff together though, but like I said, it was so great. It was so fun. But just to see like us in a different element, like growing up and just
I
all,
know.
she was in for a business trip. It was awesome though, but really funny, just so last minute though. But it was great. It was what my heart and my soul needed.
Oh, for sure. Me too. It's like I definitely feel like I filled my
Mhm.
cup because I'm a bit of
I
more
know. I was
introverted
glad y'all got to
side,
catch
but
up
it
for a
was
little bit
fun. It
too.
was so nice to see her. It's been so long.
Oh, for sure. So y'all, if y'all happen to watch the um oh my gosh. um Love Island USA, and on Wednesday nights we do the recap. Well, last Wednesday, that's where I was. So if it was the loud noise you heard in the background, I was actually at dinner with my friend Brittany and Blair.
I
So we were all
forgot
in New
about
Orleans,
that.
and
Yeah, I was driving
Blair,
back whenever you were recording.
yeah, so Blair drove back and I was in a passenger seat, like podcasting, like going live on the episode. It worked for the most part. So, except for some parts, driving over the lake, it was a little spotty, but that's fine though. But that worked out. And here we are. Speaking of friendships, we're about to get into some friendships that we are into from Real Housewives of Miami.
Yeah.
What do you think it's so far about this season?
I'm pleasantly surprised because I didn't really anticipate liking it as much as I have. But
I
I'm
know
really
you told me
enjoying it
that.
so far. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I feel like that to be honest, I kind of like there's some of them like because I kind of fell off with some of these franchises over time, but I feel like there's some of the more tolerable housewives. Like
Mhm.
I feel like they have more endearing qualities. If that makes sense. I mean, they might have their moments,
Right.
but I feel like I can kind of like I can hang with them better than some of the others.
Yeah, for sure. But like what I do like for sure is the fact that they just when something major and serious happens, they usually come together. They come together, they put like all their grievances aside. Oh, okay. Oh, that's you that went out. Okay. Oh, okay. She went out by accident. I just realized that is my picture. Okay. All right. Blair disappeared for a
It's
second.
fine.
Oh,
It
there
was
she is.
just
Okay.
no, it was just pumpkin. So anyway, I'm back. Can you hear me?
What were you saying?
That was just my dog.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
seeing
okay. Oh, got it. Okay, you're back now.
Mm-hmm.
So that yeah, so far this season is pretty good. So of course we know we got into episode 1, we covered that, and then we had Alexia come back and she was in a panic and upset and emotional, obviously because Todd out of nowhere moved out all the stuff out of the house, was filing for divorce, but now it's like of course we don't know what the hell's going on. And so with that, we'll get started with episode 2 of season 7, a recap of Real Housewives of Miami. Let's get into it. So, of course,
yeah.
we've got the opening scene, and we open up with we've got Gertie, Lisa, and Adriana. They get together, they show up at the restaurant, and looks like they're catching up, over drinks and all. And Lisa starts to quickly bring up she starts bringing up Adriana's new man, which that was oh my goodness. It was like get a room. Get a room. I'm like, is it like, do you really need to play it up that much for the cameras? It was kind
I
of
do,
gross.
because it's like it was so inevitable that was gonna happen. I'm like, oh, I'm like, come on now, like.
It's like we really didn't want to, see. I didn't really care to see any more about that. But and then what it was is Adriana, I believe she said that she is taking French lessons now, that she's learning French. So I don't know if she meant that figuratively or she meant literally. I have no idea.
Around, whoever you.
Oh yeah, okay. I figured you would catch that.
Be serious. It's like, but
yeah, I know. I was like, is she being serious? But then I was just like, oh goodness, is she ever going to be like was she ever a housewife?
She was, yeah, in earlier seasons.
So why is it that they don't only bring her back as a friend of? I wonder why.
I don't. You know what? That's a really good question, because it's like this season there's only 5 housewives who are like, on the full roster. So I don't know. It's like, I mean, maybe it's something that they decided or production. I really don't know. I kind of wonder why too, because
right.
I mean, I feel like Miami has some of the best friends of on this cat. Like,
for sure, yeah.
Franchises. Yeah, because I mean, Kiki's one of she's excellent where she's at in her role. Marysol actually, slides right into that role comfortably from being a housewife, and so is Adriana. So I don't know. I
don't know why they keep them as friends up. I'll never understand that. But
yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe there's no rhyme or reason behind it, but I'm sure there is, and we just don't know it. But
for sure, yeah, that's a good question.
That makes me definitely want to dig into that a little bit more.
For sure, yeah, I'd like to find out for sure too.
And then things, of course, the women start talking about Alexia and her rocky marriage, and of course, we see the flashbacks they show and everything, and that's from the first episode of season. Oh my god, if I could talk right. Sorry, folks. Kim's a little tired right now. But anyway, but my thing was okay, so they're just talking about how the relationship is, how it's basically like, like what's going on. They're trying to figure it out because it seemed like all of a sudden this came out of nowhere. Frankie, I mean, that was obviously had to be traumatizing for him, because
I know, because he did it right in front of his face. He moved out right in front of his face.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was really ugly. I'm like, how could you sit there and do that? But now it seems like the women were just confused, because it's like what's going on? Because it's like they're trying to figure out at this point, like, if this is continuing, but it seems like she's trying to keep with him and they're hanging out. So it's like there's a lot of confusion going on. What are your thoughts on that?
Something that she touched on, I think it was, I believe it was like at the end of this episode or the previous one. But it made a lot of sense to me as to why, I guess, like, he was doing what he was, well, not that part. It's like a lot of it just kind of made sense, if you will. I don't want to get into it just yet because I want to wait till towards the end. But
okay,
it's just that, I mean, to me, he showed his true character when he moved out. He and his daughter's stuff out. Whenever Frankie was there, because I mean, knowing that Frankie has some cognitive issues, and that he did what he did,
right?
Him almost like not giving a shit about this kid, and
exactly,
like, it shows how he thinks about him, what he feels about him, which is really sad. And honestly, I mean, I kind of saw the split coming from the way he was towards her sons. Peter, I mean, like, that makes sense, because Peter, I've heard some things about him and seen some things about him that he's done in the past. I can see that's to me, it's like that's a bit more justifiable as to why he doesn't care for him. But Frankie, like, Frankie's innocent, that makes me sad.
I know, and it's heartbreaking. Oh, it's so.
He's a sweet kid, he's endured a lot. Yes.
Exactly. No, I know he has been through a lot. There's so much. Okay, and here comes the good part. The good part. So now we are off to Milan, and we've got Lisa. Well, first we got to get into the conversation. Lisa's talking to Jody, and she's talking about how she's got this trip that she is going to take in Milan, and she's going to be modeling in the fashion show. It's for his name. It's Phillip
Phillip Plein.
Plein. Yeah, that's it. And
I
so
think I'm saying it right. I can't remember.
yeah, modeling. I think that's it because I had it in here somewhere in my notes. Hold on, let me look at my other show notes here real quick, y'all. My unedited show notes. Let's see. I got a ton of them. Let's see here. What page am I on? And is it Plein? Let me see. I'm gonna get to it. Phillip. I think it's Phillip Plein.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So she talks to Jody and says how she's been good friends with him for a while, and he asked her to model in her show. And then she starts kind of walking it back and, telling the audience, for people who don't remember, that she was a model when she was in Canada. And that's actually what brought her to the United States, helped her get to the United States, I think on a work visa, if I'm correct, was her modeling career. And so
Okay.
there we have it. So she was able to kind of show people like, you know what, y'all, shut up. Because I am a legit model. So she was asked to do that. And then on top of it, it turned out that Larsa's son, Preston, was going to be walking in the same show. And I'm trying to remember how that happened. I think that's what it was. Preston was interested in modeling. That's what Larsa says. And then he approached her. And then from there, she's just kind of like, well, Mama Bear's going to make that happen.
Yeah. So whatever happens, however, it was that Phillip Plein is good friends with Larsa, and he asked her initially to be in it, but it's just that she just had too much going on. I think it just kind of
that's what it was.
Didn't really feel right about it, or just kind of felt too nervous about it. So and she was like, "Hey, Preston wants to model. How about have him do it instead?" And I think it worked out perfectly because he did an excellent job.
He did. I was really impressed by him. I really like that artistic side to him. I think I like the fact that he's also a talented athlete, but I like the fact that he's opening up other doors for himself, and just like seeing what else that he's tapping into other areas and not just trying to live off of his dad's legacy. And I like that. He's dipping into modeling and fashion. And I appreciate that. So that's really exciting. Because to me, I'm like, I don't like that stigma that all men like have to play sports or play sports. Not saying, I mean, he played basketball, but that whole, I was thinking about that this weekend, that like all men, like, I don't know, not all men have to like
that.
sports.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Anyway,
more power to.
So that was interesting. And then so we fast forward a little bit, and then they go to Milan, they get there, and then what happens?
They're in the same vehicle together.
Flight, and then they're in the same vehicle, which is funny. So that that happens. And then here's Lisa. She is facing Larsa. They're facing each other. And then they start talking, and Preston, of course, gets up at the front. And Lisa's being polite. She's, now acknowledges Larsa. She acknowledges Preston. And she's being adult. I definitely think she's being a lot more mature than Larsa was. But Larsa's known for going below the belt.
Yeah, oh, exactly, for sure.
Hit below the belt. So, of course, they get in a vehicle, and it's, like, awkward. And I love the fact that it made me laugh because then Jody gets in, and then they start kind of with the conversation. And then Lisa's like, okay, this is awkward. And, yeah, it was very, very interesting. So what do you think? What did you think about that scene?
So, like, I just saw it was kind of like, I mean, I was kind of like, like, Larsa, time and place, because it's always in the vehicle. But it's like, I can't say I'm surprised because that's how she moves. But like, I really felt like Jody did a great job holding his own, and so Lisa. But I kind of feel like, I mean, here's the thing, because it's like she didn't like the fact that Jody's still friends with Marcus, and I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times, like, these men develop natural friendships with each other. I mean, case in point, look at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. PK and Marysol were still really good friends. Like,
yeah, you're right.
And it's like, I mean, after they're splitting their, like, significant out from their wives, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, the wives don't like each other anyway. So I guess it's kind of like, it's almost like not really a bad thing, but at the same time too, like men and their friendships are just different, where it's kind of like, how can I say that? A lot of times it's kind of like that their wives or girlfriends can't get, like, they may not get along, but they'll stay friends with each other, and that's not going to affect their friendship. And they're really good at separating that. So I
No,
don't
no,
see
he
like I
definitely
don't really see the big deal about them being friends, especially if she and Lisa aren't really that good friends. I mean,
right.
it's not like so it's like if he and Marcus will be friends, I don't think that's really a problem in my opinion. Um, so
And that's the thing,
yeah.
like they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know, it's like
Right, exactly. And then
it
Larsa
was
kept on
just
saying, yeah, just saying that, well, Marcus is like a fake a friend. He's not a real friend to you. And it's like, it is what it is.
right, right. No, exactly, exactly. So look, I'm bringing up the picture, and then we're gonna, of course, towards the end, we're gonna talk more about this picture. But
Right.
I found this picture from with Larsa and Lisa from and I'm assuming this is from the model, the same. Is this from the same event that night?
I believe so,
I know.
yeah.
Okay, okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, because I remember the picture does it comes into play, so that was like the main reason why like I
Right,
brought it
yeah.
up or whatever.
Hmm.
But no, but that was very interesting. But yeah, I thought that was strange. But what I do want to know, and I'm curious though too now, because especially after I was watching, yeah, I was watching uh She Speaks with Emily Hanks, and they were recapping this episode actually. Emily was saying too, and that's what I was warning, because whenever Larsa was freaking out over Marcus and like how she kept on telling Jody, she's like, Marcus doesn't like you, he's not friends with you, he's only using you to get to me because he has out for me. And then they show that clip with her and Alexia. She's talking and she's reading a text message that she shows came from Marcus, and it's basically like threatening text messages saying that he really, I guess, didn't care about what would happen or however it is. I'm trying to allegedly like, or from the text message that he it seems like he's got something on Larsa and she's afraid of it.
Oh,
And I
I must
want to
have
get to
missed
the
that part.
bottom of it. I'm curious. I'm like
Wow.
inquiring minds want to know, especially this one. So
Oof.
but, I'm curious to know about that one. But it's like and that was no, it's very interesting. So but like we said, like Larsa, she goes for the jugular. She just doesn't, she goes in and everything. But oh my gosh. But yeah, so then that's right. Okay, we got to that part where Larsa explains where she gave up her runway spot to her son and everything. That was great. What I loved was the fact that she was sitting there trying to like bitch and complain about Lisa, about her business to her son. And Preston was like, that's not our business. He was like putting her in her place. Did you notice that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know, I thought that was really funny. I was like, look at that. Look, I was like, that is so mature of him. I'm
Yeah.
like, you go boy. I thought that was interesting. So let's see here. Let's get on to it. So meanwhile, it looks like, okay, yeah, like we're here. Here we are. Marcus Jordan's texts come out. And yeah, Larsa reads some wild receipts that are accusing him of the threatening behaviors. I was on the right track. And then she claims that yep, that Lisa's man is being used as a pawn. That's when she's going to stop. She's going on and everything. And then Lisa's like trying to be like, look, I'm doing all this stuff. She's kind of like, I've got a lot on my plate. You know, she reels about how her dad was sick. And Larsa tells her she shouldn't be there. She shouldn't be there if your dad's sick. And I'm like, this
What were
is
your
my
thoughts
just
on that?
earlier. Time and place, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was awful. That was shitty. She had no place and the right to say that. But then again, that's typical Larsa. So it's
Yeah,
like,
sure. Kind of
can we
what's to be expected at this point.
yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right. And you know what? Like last season, I kept trying to pull for her. I was trying to pull for her so hard, but it's like there were so many things that she would say and do, like so many attributes. It's like, oh man. But I'm not gonna lie, she makes for great television. So, and this is what reality TV is all about. They are entertainment.
Right, exactly.
They sign their contracts to expose their lives to us, and then we talk about it. And come back.
Sure.
But oh my
Sure.
god. So we were there and we got to that part. So all right, so now the next scene, Gertie and her husband, we follow her to her appointment where she's looking at a post-op. She's in a post-op consultation with her doctor for like another breast augmentation surgery, and she wants to get it done. I get it. I get both
Yeah,
sides. I get
yeah,
her wanting to feel back to normal after like going through something so traumatic, and I mean that's cancer, that's life changing,
oh, yeah,
and
exactly.
and life threatening, and so it's like she's doesn't feel the same. You know, she said she's gained 30 pounds. her skin feels different. Like everything just feels different. It's not the same. She wants to get her body back. And Russell's like, he doesn't know if he wants to go through all that again because he's been through it too with Gertie. And I get it. Like, I mean, they've been together for a really long time, and it's
high school sweethearts,
yeah, oh yeah, and it's like he feels her emotions and all that, but it's like he's still standing by her side. It's like, you know, even though if she wants to get this done, he's gonna support her. But I didn't even think about it really, but it's like he's got to be exhausted and worn out from helping her, if you know, out and everything. So that
takes
a
a
lot.
totally mentally, emotionally, yes.
It really does, because we did it for a little bit. We were, you know, came together for a little bit to caretake for our dad. You know, it was different circumstance, still cancer, but it's definitely takes a lot out of you for sure. And then we've got the next scene with Marysol and her fiance, or her husband that she's like marrying again. Or what's his? Do you remember his name? I always forget his name.
You know, I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember offhand.
I know, me either. I think
he's like a really nice guy. I think. I mean,
he's like really nice and cool, you know, and everything. But I always forget his name, and that's sorry, folks. That's a failure on my end. So, let me fix my camera. Let's see what's going on here. All right, let me. Okay, so okay, I'm still here. I'm just trying to get this camera in motion. This happened. Okay, here we go. This happened last time. It's like my camera like blinked out for whatever reason. I think it's my cord. Anyway, I'm back. Huh?
I thought it's Steve McNamara.
Oh, that's his name? Okay.
Yeah.
We got it. Yay. So Marysol's man's got a name. We got a name for him finally. So here we go. Okay. So Marysol, she spills the tea about Alexia's marriage and telling everyone that she feels like Todd brings her down. And she said that the best Alexia that she gets is when she's away from Todd and when she's not with him in this relationship. But you can even see it though. You can kind of see, as much as she wants to be with him and everything, it's like he doesn't really bring out the relationship in general doesn't really bring out the best in her. I do think the kids have, like, her sons do play a role in it, especially Peter, because the way he and Peter would get along. But supposedly the television show, like her being a housewife, had something to do with it. I don't know. There's so much, but I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it. But like she says, she just misses the old Alexia, and she's wants one before, like she wants the one that was there before, like all the chaos and the control that she feels that Todd puts her under. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. But and so we go back to Milan. We've got Larsa and Preston, and they've got, like, we were just talking about that a second ago. They've got that weird back and forth, and then Preston's basically like saying, like, "Mom, it's not your business. It's not our business. That's Lisa's personal life." And then oh my gosh, then they go to the runway show, and they're there. Well, of course, we missed the scene when they were doing a little fashion, the fitting part or whatever, and they met with a designer. The designer was he was very high strung to me, I felt.
He was like there. He was like the designer rep. Like, he kind of was a little kind of liaison.
So he wasn't the actual designer? So
no,
because there were two people. Because there were two guys. Because there was one that was there. The first guy was like a rep.
The shorter one who was more like, how do you say it? The shorter,
like a liaison,
charismatic one with the sunglasses. Yeah, he was like their PR person, like PR sort of representative, liaison type person. Like, yeah, that's who represents the company. That's who he was.
So the guy that whenever Preston was getting fitted and everything, and then Lisa was getting fitted, whenever she greeted him, what did that tall guy, wasn't that the designer?
The tall guy with the tall guy who came to later on, that was the designer. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
No, I was talking about the shorter one with the sunglasses and like. who dressed a
Oh,
little
no,
more
yeah, I
like
was trying to figure out,
flashy.
yeah,
Yeah.
the designer, like, whenever they were
Oh,
there,
okay,
but
yeah,
I felt like he was kind of like, because he was sitting there harassing her, Preston and everything about, like, the way he dressed her, like, I was like, "Oh, this is how Americans dress," and da, da, da. He seemed kinda all over the place a little bit, but there was that. But then a fashion show started, and I thought that was very interesting because, Lisa did great. I thought she did great, she rocked it out.
yeah.
But before that, Preston did a great job, and because he pretty much opened up the show, so he was great. I
Yeah, he
want to
was
see
different
more of
too.
him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And then,
I think he's gonna do well. I think he's gonna go far.
well, of
And then,
course,
what do you think
Larsa.
about
Oh, sorry.
Lisa? Wait, what?
Lisa did great, yes, and of course, Larsa and that guy had to go and like take a selfie that Larsa instigated right when Lisa was walking up there. But you know, at least actually handled that better than I think most people would have. I
Yeah,
think
she
that
really did.
yeah, I think people will probably be like really pissed off and either really upset or they would be like fuming and like really confrontational and probably cursing her out. But Lisa was kind of like, ah,
Right.
yeah, whatever, kiss my ass. I did great. I look great. So great.
And
And
that's what I
yeah,
thought was awesome, just like you said, because she didn't hold on to that. Like, she didn't keep that, and she didn't find Larsa to go fight about that later. She didn't like bother Jody and bombard him like, "Do you know what that bitch did? She said that." Da, da, da,
yeah, and
da,
then Jody
Larsa
actually
made
handled
all
that
that
better
stuff
than
on her."
I thought most people would have too. Like he just kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah, no,
it was
mhm.
like a non-issue. He just kind of, I guess, ignored it, didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, oh yeah. And of course after this show they have the big after party, and Jody, I think, like, kind of, I think, took off. I think he was trying to find her, or I don't know what it was. He was kind of doing his own thing, and
Yeah, I guess we'll
she and
find out
Larsa
more
ran
next
into each other.
episode, but yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, well, she and Larsa run into each other, and it was funny. So Larsa basically approaches her, and she's like, let's not talk about. We need to talk, but let's talk. We need to have a conversation, but let's not do it tonight." And Lisa's like, "Yeah, let's not." And then she's like, "Cause we want to have fun." She's like, "Yeah, I agree." And then that happened,
Mhm.
and then like a few minutes later, what happens? All of a sudden, they run into Fabulous, the rapper Fabulous.
Yeah, he was there. It was like,
He's there. That part was
which is really
hysterical.
funny is how they're getting like relationship advice from him.
Yeah, and then they were getting him all in a drama, which is funny. But what was even funnier was the fact that he was literally like, he was actually listening to them and listening to both
Yeah,
sides, and
that
he
was
was
pretty
actually
funny.
like giving legit like advice. Like, he was really invested into what they were saying, so he didn't like blow them off and like walk away. Like, he was literally like giving them time to listen, and he sided with Lisa, but for whatever reason, I don't know what, because he agreed with Larsa about something. But then when they showed the clip, whenever they were, you know how they showed the little
Mhm.
clips in the confessionals, Larsa was basically saying that he sided with her completely or whatever. But I'm like,
Of
that's not
course.
what I got from it.
Yeah, of course she
Yeah,
put the narrative.
but I
You
know
know,
it's
do you
pretty
also
much like he, because he was like he was saying, like, it's like if Jody was friends with Marcus, I mean, they're friends. I mean, like, Lisa can't dictate who he's friends with and who he hangs out
yeah.
with. And, she just knows where she stands with her relationship with Larsa. I don't get that. But I thought that part was very interesting. That was funny. But it was great to see Fabulous. I hadn't seen him in a minute. So that
Not
was
since was it
a
Love and
blast
Hip
from
Hop? I
past.
think he was doing that.
Oh, was he? Maybe he was.
I
I
think he
haven't seen,
was.
but
Yeah.
I was out of that for a while too. And I
Yes,
didn't
that was
get back
I.
into
Like
it for,
I'm gonna say that he was. He had a bit of a resurgence because, like, I want to say he was actually Love and Hip Hop Miami. I think.
oh, maybe he probably was. We'll research that and see. And like I
Yeah.
said, and which could make, I mean, he probably was. I could actually look that up right now.
I'm
Let's see
actually doing it
here.
right now.
Sorry, y'all. Y'all probably hear my dog hacking in the background. Poor thing. She's got her allergies. Let me look and see. Let's see here. Let me. So I am looking at Fabulous. Da-da-da-da-da. Let me see. Oh man, Rob was so into his stuff. Like, he had so many great hits back in the day. Oh
It looks
man,
like I
let's
think he
see
was
here.
on there. I think he had a girlfriend that was on there. I think.
He probably did. Let me check his. I'm looking right now. I'm trying to see. Let me see. He's got an IMDb review database, because that usually tells you. Let's see here. Okay, let me look. All right, Fabulous. Let's see what kind of accolades you got here. Kind of. acting, roles, different things. Let's see what we've got. Alrighty, credits go to.
Well, no, maybe I don't know because it's like I'm looking at IMDb and it's not showing him as credited on Love Miami Hip Hop. So looks like he dated someone. I think he was on there.
Yeah, maybe so. I think that's what it was because I didn't think he was on there.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
it.
I heard his name being tossed around a lot with Love and Hip Hop. So that's probably what I thought it.
I think and it's been a minute. Like I said, it's been a minute. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. I think he dated somebody that was on there, and, like in the cast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a minute. Like I said, it's been forever. Oh my god, so many reality shows out there. Like I just, I'm like, when do you have some? But so of course, they're over there. I thought that was very interesting. That conversation and how they got him in there and like his whole but that was that was very interesting though. So, but yes, of course we then we get the women. They are together with Alexia again. Just about everybody. They're all together with at dinner except for Gertie. She's not there. With Alexia, and then her friend shows up. What's his name again? Is it the guy? Let me see. Half my notes have all the things I need, and half the notes don't have everything I need. Let me see his name.
I forgot
It was her friend. He flew in from Milan. Huh?
Was it Johnny?
Is it Johnny? Yeah, that's it, Johnny. Yeah. So Johnny flew in from Milan. And it's funny because he's like a really good friend of hers. Is like Peter's age, her son's age. But it happens. It's like one of her friends. And so she felt like his timing was great because she really needed his company. But this is where everything was just so weird. Now it was like I felt like the timeline, everything was kind of convoluted because it seemed like this point that she and Todd were hanging out together, that things are great, but then they all get together with all the women. It's all of a sudden now it becomes like, like fuck Todd, whatever. And they all start like yelling about how awful he is. So I'm kind of like, well, what's going on? Because it seems to me like she doesn't want to pull the trigger. She's obviously
just hesitant to do it.
Yeah, and I think she just wants to hold on. I mean, a lot of people do that. I mean, it's like
that's like that part I was circling back to from like earlier of discussing how I thought it was interesting how they broke the fourth wall because she talked about how he didn't like the fact that he felt like the show gave her power or gave her too much power. And he didn't like that. And at first he was all about the show. He was like fine with it, but then he didn't like how he was being portrayed and didn't like how people's perception of him was. And so he started being resentful because of her. And she was actually, being like, look, I'll drop out of this and leave the show if it's going to affect our marriage. And he was kind of gets too late at this point.
Yeah. So that was interesting. So, but I don't know. However, it is because I heard somewhere, I read somewhere that he made some sort of comment basically saying that him filing for divorce, that it was gonna like end up like him doing what he did was that she was like basically gonna thank him later and that it was just gonna benefit her or both of them. I don't know. However, it was, and it was just, it just made me have more questions than answers. What are your thoughts?
It's like, I mean, I just feel like she has to just let him go because obviously he's trash and she deserves better. I just feel like that,
right?
And I can see him using a show as part of like, I could see him using that as like a means for him to get out like or get out of the marriage. So I'm not terribly surprised he did that also. I mean, I really feel like his true character is what we decided that moved out like that in front of Frankie and didn't care.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I thought that was pretty gross. It was a very gross move. I think that's what just stuns me is the fact that after all that, I don't know, but like I said, it's like, I haven't walked in her shoes. So
yeah, true. I mean, I did feel for them. That's her third marriage that's failed, and
I know.
That doesn't feel good,
No, it doesn't. But it's like I wish her the best. So but like Marysol said, just like she deserves better, and it's rough. That is a rough one. And then we're gonna go ahead and our last scene, Larsa shows up. Larsa shows up when she shows up, at this last scene for dinner, she starts talking about. Oh, wait a minute! They do like a little the scene change where they
Oh,
like
we forgot about that scene change. Yes, that was whenever. Yeah, because apparently some drama went down when the cameras were cut off after they wrapped up for
yes.
the evening after from the after party from Milan
Mm-hmm.
Fashion Week, and apparently it sounds like from what Larsa said at the table. I think was her that said at the table that well, like it's like that she, her, and Jody had like a shouting match,
Mm-hmm.
and she was saying that he was, I think, possibly on some substances at night, and start passing out a picture on a phone, and like that's what we see the preview leading to
Right.
next week, and that how everybody's jaws have been dropped when we're looking at the picture, and they showed a picture of him at the end of the episode, and his eyes looked really big. That's the picture he had pulled up, right? That's how he pulled it up earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is it here. I'm sharing my screen. So do you see it?
I see it. Yes.
Okay, so this is from Reddit. So that's the picture of with his
I
eye.
shouldn't
And then I
laugh.
saw another picture too. Huh?
I shouldn't laugh, but like
Oh, I couldn't hear you. And
I
here's
shouldn't laugh. I'll say that.
so this is what
It's like what he normally looks like versus in that picture.
yeah, but it's kind of like hmm, well, the pupils do look a little dilated.
Yeah. And my thing too is that
When
it's hard
this
for me to
picture
be
side by
honest. To
side,
me,
I
yeah,
wasn't gonna do about I'm like, since I'm like winning room.
right, yeah. For
I
me personally, I
mean,
haven't been
who's
around
to
a lot of
say,
people.
I mean, I mean, like I said, who's to say? It looks like you may even have a little fun, like when you look at those pictures. But I mean, there could also be like a bright flashing light. There could be a lot of things. There could be a lot of explanations. A lot of ways
Yeah, I
to
mean
explain
that's
that.
true
I don't
too.
know,
It's like I mean, also too, it's like I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't been around that many people at all who've been on something, and if they were, I couldn't really. Sometimes I would tell, sometimes I wasn't, because again, I haven't been around it. I
Mhm.
haven't fooled with it, so it's kind of hard for me to tell. But if I were to go by other people's suspicions, and maybe
I know my suspicion. My suspicion tells me that it looks like he's probably had a good time, had a
Mhm.
good time with in a little fun department with some candy.
Right.
But like I said, I don't know. Like
Um,
I'm like
a
I don't
little
want to
ski
like
trip.
yeah, I don't want to make up
Right, right.
or spread false accusations and stories. But that's just me though.
True, true. Yeah, I feel you.
From what I've seen the past around, but I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that was very interesting. But all I have to say is that Real Housewives of Miami, I am I can talk. Real Housewives of Miami has always had me hooked. I'm really surprised still that they had it on hiatus. Actually, it wasn't even on hiatus. It was just canceled
Yeah,
for
yeah, it was
as
canceled,
long
yeah.
as it was. Yeah, and then
I
they
know,
brought
it's
it
like
back.
I'm pretty mystified, but actually happy they brought it back, 'cause it's like I know, but it's like, I mean, I never knew that was ever actually gonna be a thing, that would happen. 'Cause it's
Yeah, oh, I
like
know.
it
Like,
was gone for 8 years, so it's like you think it was long packed up. So I'm curious about what were like what I wanted to know one day is like what were these women's reactions when they're told, like, like years later,
what they
like
would
probably out of
get.
nowhere, hey, we're thinking about picking cameras back up again. Are y'all interested? And like I imagine they were pretty excited about it because it came back stronger than ever.
Oh, 1000%. And it's like, and it's just been great. It's
Yeah.
been awesome just to see and to follow. So but just like you said, I'm curious to know as well. Like, I wonder how their reactions were and everything, what they were feeling. But yeah, so we've got that. So what else has been going on that's hot topics or anything that you've seen or noticed going on lately that you wanna
Honestly, not as a not um except for this war that just happened, which I don't want to really spend much time talking about that, but yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, back to routine. I haven't really, I don't know, but it's something I did see some little bit of discourse. I mean, I didn't really see much of the video, but that apparently Miley Cyrus had I think of an autograph signing. I think in London. I
I
think
saw
between
that. Yeah, I want to talk
Naomi
about
Campbell
that.
to the
Yeah.
table with, and they were just chatting with each other, Kiki, and then I think and like the people who are there for autographs were getting ignored. I think. I mean, I didn't really see that much about info about it, but just like that's not the only thing I've really been kind of tuned into so far this week. Usually, I'm more tuned into that, but it's like I said, I had just like a
Mhm.
really busy week, so it's kind of like that's about the only thing that really caught my eye that I really paid attention to.
Right. I saw that too. I saw a TikTok. That's how I first heard about it, which of course is probably how most people get their news now. But I was scrolling
Yeah.
through TikTok and I came across that. And it was like this guy was talking about how, and he showed the clips, everything was playing in the background, but it was numerous clips that that were pieced together
Mhm.
of them basically like ignoring fans like during the autograph signing. But here's the thing though, too. It's like I can kind of almost see two sides of it. I could see where number one, if you're there for the fans, they make you who you are. Like give them that attention, like do something because they really make or break you at the end of the day. Because it's like
Right.
if you don't have a fan base, then you don't have anyone buying your shit and you don't have any money. So
Yeah.
um and so that says a lot, and it does a lot and your character and everything that your reputation, it goes a long way. But then also too, it could have been a situation where two girlfriends that just they got along really well and they get around each other and their energy they could to me it looks like they feed off of each other's energy a lot from looking at them. So
Oh yeah, I can definitely
I
tell
could see
that.
how they
Yeah.
can get caught up in conversation and just so hyped up. Because what it reminded me of too, it reminded me of when I'm with my good girlfriends, close girlfriends, and we're like all, especially when I was living in California, and we were just like all out and about and together and just vibing and like, you almost forget,
Yeah, actually,
like,
I
what
talk
else
about a body
what's going on
language
around
that
you.
they're like they get along great and that they probably have a good friendship or friendly. But it
Mhm.
also was random to me is that how did Naomi Campbell end up there?
Yeah, I wanna know how did they end up with doing a song together? Because that's what it was, they did a song
Really?
together.
I didn't know that.
I believe so, I think that's what it was, that's why they were together. Because it was something
I
with the
must have missed
album
that
release
part.
or whatever.
Maybe I guess so. I had no idea.
That's why they were together. Yeah, let me hold on, let me do a little bit more research, but yeah, that is why it was. Let's see here. Miley, Cyrus, Naomi Campbell. Yeah, they did a song. Okay, yep. It was
Okay.
yeah, it was a song and
So that makes sense as to why they're both together. Because I always thought that was like one of those things where
I
it's like
believe
Naomi's like, hey, Miley's in town, I'm gonna go stop and see her. Had her autograph
yeah, no, it
signed.
looks like I think they actually did a song together, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig some more, but yeah, or either that or maybe she was just in her video. I don't know. However it was, she was at the signing, but I want to say they did a song together.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'll yeah, I'm trying to like dig into it and look at it a little bit more, but oh shoot, what did I do? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Oops. I hit the wrong button on my thing. Can you see me? Am I here? Am I back?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, anyway, but yeah, that was very interesting. But I definitely want to look into that a little bit more because I'm curious about that. And of course, I've got Love Island that I'm hooked on this season. It's so funny. I never thought I would get hooked on that because I'm not a huge like game show person, but I'm really enjoying it this season. If y'all follow along, come watch because it is me and Danielle Peterson, aka Danny Gossip Girl, the host of Pop Culture Expose. We are covering it Wednesday night, 7:30 Central live, recapping. And then we've got a special guest. We've got Connection Queen X is going to join us. So
That's
that's
exciting. Yeah,
and
she
that's
was
gonna be
great
so
whenever we
much
had her
fun.
on our with us.
I know, I know, I know. So she's ready for another Kiki session and for us to get cracking. So I'm excited about that. But all right, well, that concludes us for this recap. And thank y'all for joining us. Don't forget to like, follow,
Yeah, thank
subscribe,
you so
and
much.
share. Please do. And y'all, like, we're growing. Things are getting bigger, bigger. Good fucking freaking talk. Sorry, y'all. I'm tired. I've got a lot going on. So,
Oh yeah,
and you know
I
what?
don't want to
Like,
bring back because we both have some fun things planned, and I'm not gonna talk about that yet because I want to I want to jinx myself and that not work out or fall through or me dropping the ball simply.
no, I hear you. I hear you. I'm trying to get my camera.
Mhm.
No worries. I'm trying to get my camera back up, but you know what though? It's like I don't think this is coming up. Oh wait, here we go. Let me try now. I don't know. Okay. Well, my other camera's working, so not the one I was generally using, but that's okay because we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up anyway. So, like I said, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Please share. I'm gonna go ahead and go because my dog needs me. So,
Right.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much, and y'all have a
Always
good
a
night.
pleasure.
Y'all Wednesday night.
Bye.
Bye.